Welcome back to Ian Makes Bad Decisions. Just an FYI, do not try to clean your brand new Andes Hobby Headquarters cutting mat with acetone. Yeah, a little too aggressive. Lacquer thinner is more than enough to deal with this. That being said, we got a build today. Yeah. What the hell is this thing? Oh, God. Ooh. Oh, is that ugly. It's so ugly. But beauty is ugly. Ugly is only skin deep. I don't know what the term is. In the eye of the beholder. Yeah, this horrible... Oh. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, God. This is not a pretty body shell. The Tamiya guys will probably all agree. What's this in the box, though? Oh, look at that chassis tub. Is that like an old DF? Oh, yeah, look at that. Old school. Old school. What are these in here? These aren't the... No, these are the wheels that come with it. And these are the tires that come with it. What do those look like? Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're going to build our own little the Fun V. Not the Humdrum V. We're going to build the Fun V. The Humvee, or High Mobility Multi-Purpose Wheeled Vehicle. Oh my God, I got it. Hey, look at that. Or colloquially, the Hummer. Who doesn't love a good Hummer on a Saturday in a nice basement? Basement Hummer time. So, I've had this shell for a long time. I got it off eBay. Whoever sold it, they already painted it. They did a decent enough, box. Like, follow the instructions to the letter job. That's no good for us here. But this is it. This is it. I sourced the original wheels and tires, and this chassis is the same one that came with this kit new. So instead of spending $500 or $600, and I've had this body shell for, I've had this shell for 3 different places I've lived so far. This house, our apartment when we moved to Atlanta, and our house in New Jersey. So I got this really cheap. I think I paid like $57, $60 for it on eBay back in the day. You can't get a new in-box kit now for less than like $500 and change. It's a little boring though. Doesn't have a lot going on. So we're going to do some of our usual suspects here. We're going to add a nice antenna from DKL MRC. We'll add one of those. And what else are we going to add? I wanted to add, I had a bunch of spare 50 cals from different model kits over the years, but we'd affix it, we'd raise it up a little bit, we'd make a tube for it, but it's just out of scale. This is 16th scale, and this is 1/12 scale. So, I was on the hunt, and lo and behold, they make this thing, and don't judge me, okay? I'm not into the waifu stuff, but Tomitech has this thing called Little Armory. It's apparently just a bunch of heavily armed, very suggestively drawn schoolgirls firing off heavy machine guns. So we do have an M2HB. It looks quite nice. And it's 1/12 scale. It might even come with the extension tube mount that we want, maybe. We also got this badass thing. Who doesn't love a damn minigun? That is just sick. Now, if you're a fan of Terminator 2, or Predator, or many other 80s movies, the minigun was like the go-to for the most badass machine gun on any movie. So, yeah, we may get crazy and throw a minigun on the roof of this thing. I don't know. But at the very least, we have the Browning H2, we got the minigun, we got some little spare shell casings from mastermodel.pl, Poland, to sprinkle on the roof. Yeah. We got a IED countermeasure Duke Cruise antenna. We'll throw that on there for good measure. And as far as the paint job, I'm gonna figure it out. But first, we need to build the actual RC car. So, we are going to do a very stock build on that. I pulled out an old Futaba FM radio. Look at that. Oh wait, AM? 2-channel receiver, 67. Is this an AM radio? No, this is 75 megahertz. But this is 75 megahertz. Okay, I guess it is an AM radio. Wow. not even an FM. Okay, this will work fine for our needs. It's got the forward and back and the turny-turny. As far as lighting goes, this thing is not going to lend itself well to being lit. I had an idea. I have some spare roll bar light covers from like an F350 high lift kit. I could put headlights in. These are very solid. Not really super easy to get plastic in there. Same thing with the marker lights. Who knows? I may get adventurous and try something. But for now, this is it. No lights. Even though this car comes with a speed control, it also comes with a TLU-01 light unit with headlights and taillights. So that's always handy to have around. Yeah, there we go. So let's get started. Hey, we're all unpacked and ready for summer camp. We got all of our hardware bags dumped into our little tray with the labels there. And yeah, first step, let's see. Building differentials. I always loved this back in the day. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, let's get some differentials going. And then engine, gearboxes, things like that. Drivetrain. Not the most exciting or glamorous part of this. But, yeah, it's necessary. We'll be right back. Somebody said I don't show enough of the actual work, so here we go. Here's a differential case. We've got one of our main axle pinion gear there. And then we got our three little pinions on our three-way thingy bobber. You just drop it in there in the slots. And then we give it a good spooge of schmoo. There we go. That's seriously, I mean, once this thing starts spinning, you don't have to be precise. The manual's like, oh, paint them all precisely with the... No, you don't need to do that. Like, even this other... Oh, that's way too much. Oh, you really can't have too much grease. Well, you can, I guess. Just ask my doctor when he talks about my blood pressure. There we go. So, a little more schmoo. A little more schmoo on that shim. Get down there. This isn't as fun as greasing our balls, but, you know, it'll do in a pinch. Okay. And then you close her up, and that's it. You just 3 screws, and the differential's done. These are so easy to build. I love building Tamiya cars. They go together a treat. All right, we'll be right back with more actual work. Time to assemble the differential. So we gotta lube this fella up a bit. This is where you probably want to get a little more even spread of your grease. Yeah. There we go. Just slowly squeeze and spin. Squeeze and spin. I'm sure that's a dance move somewhere. We're not going to use the little plastic bushings that Tamiya supplies. We are going to use ball bearings that I got online on eBay from Big Ball Bearings. Come down to Bob's Big Ball Bearings. We got deals. TA01 bearing set, because the TA series and the DF series are very close siblings. Don't get your mind out of the gutter. They're not that close. You know, bumping uglies there. But yeah, and then a differential and the thing and the housing and the bottom. I'm looking at the instructions. So this part goes up, and then this part goes here. There we go. Nice toit fit there. And we gotta drop in some screws. And we have a new tool. We have the Fantic whatever thing. Look at this thing. It USB-C rechargeable, thank the maker. So it has multiple torque settings. So let's try. It has forward and backward. It's a little more fancy than I think we really need, but let's get a PH2 bit in there, and it locks the bits in. That's kind of cool. And then they pop out. Oh, that's cool. I like this thing. It was a deal on Woot. I can't turn down a half-price tool. Is a PH2 too big? Let's see. The fit's okay. Ah, it's a PH1. That's why. Yeah, whatever. Okay. PH1. Are these magnetized? Nope. We can fix that, but yeah, just drop your little screw in there. Oh, this sucks. These bits, they're no good. No good, I tell you. There we go. We're building a Japanese kit. Let's use some Japanese screwdrivers. I know, I've got a problem with the tool shopping. This is ABS plastic, so it's actually pretty tough stuff. These things are built like, no, they're not built exactly like tanks, but they're tank-like. Okay, I'm gonna get 2 more screws in this, and but we're gonna show some progress here. BRB. This little bit's just for like the guys on Tamiya Legends group. So here's the stock, you know, can motor that comes with the kit. Yeah, they're fine. I don't, you know, you're not racing. I'm not doing anything crazy. Look at what I have. A black backed. You can tell that just the tone of the metal. Okay, an actual Mabuchi labeled 540. Still a stock motor, probably, you know, nearly identical specs. I'm sure if we dissected this one says, oh, this says Mabuchi still, and very hard to see. It does say Mabuchi motor, made in China. But this one just looks cooler. I'm going to use this one. That, again, just for the Legends, guys. Be right back. Alright, well, we've got our little gear sets built up. It's just some ball bearings to replace the plastic bushings. You put the metal shaft through, put the little end caps on, and then we are going to drop this down into its home right there. And we have another one built here, and that is going to go right here. And then this last one's a cool one. Same thing, ball bearing, there's an E-clip on it. And then that will go right here. And then we will really spooge this up, I mean massively. And we'll give it a little rotation. Nope, go the other way. There we go. And see that the grease makes its way through. All right, and we don't have a paper towel handy, do we? Yes, we do. Off camera. Okay. And we have the differential outer casing, and a little grease spooges through. It happens from time to time. You know, we've all had our accidents. Whoopsie. All right, we got our little screws here, and we figured out how to make this thing work. The bits it comes with are just kind of garbage, so I'm using my little German-made bit of thanks from kctool.com. Not sponsored, but oh, German bits, like Japanese bits, German bits are just that much more precise. And we don't have really good clearance there, so we'll go to our Japanese vessel screwdriver. It's not even the right one that was working. The PH2. Come on, I magnetized and there's staples all over the place. Okay. And Bob's your uncle. And we'll test it by, well, that's not going to work. Okay, well, here's how we can test it. We can take, oh no, we can't. That's not going to work either. This is an open differential. All it's going to do is spin the diff. Oh, sorry. What am I doing? Here, let's take the drive shaft. We put her in to the output shaft, and we give her a turn. And it's working fine, and I hit the camera stand, of course. Okay, so always make sure your differential, like all your gears, spin before you get further along, so that you can take it back apart and figure out what you screwed up. Happens a lot with the modern Tamiya tank transmissions. Not the most, well, yeah, all of them. The ones you have to build yourself. Like Tamiya was giving us those pre-built transmissions with the older kits, and then the newer stuff, you either get the weird twin motor modern setup from the Abrams, the other ones, and then you have the new ones that you build yourself for the Sheridan and the Centurion. Those, I see a lot of posts about people having problems. It's just, I've screwed up myself the first time ever building each of those, and I just had to go back and redo it. We'll be back. Nothing exciting happening here except putting some suspension arm stuff together. This is like kind of sub-assemblies. There's like the rear drive unit, and then we're gonna have the front drive unit And then we're going to bolt them to the bathtub and whatnot. But yeah, I'm just trying to go through the more technical tidbits here. The rest of it's kind of idiot-proof. If you screw up, I'm not calling you an idiot. It's okay. Just try harder. Try again. You'll get it right. Don't worry. We'll be right back. Oh, dear. Okay. We got a little sidetracked. Old friend of mine from Jersey, the owner of Comics and Toys in northern New Jersey, Mark. Awesome dude. If you're in northern New Jersey, search Comics and Toys and find his store. He's got some cool shit. But the rear drive unit or whatever module is done. I wasn't going to bore you with suspension builds. I mean, there's really no way to screw that up. If you look at the pictures, here's the front. The differential build, less complicated than the back, so much less chance to screw things up. But that's all done. So we have the okay, nothing in the middle yet. We're gonna get to that. But yeah, so she's coming along nice. Building Tamiya RC cars, well, I mean, you know, if it's your first one. When I got my first TL01, I got the Ford Lightning TL01, and that thing took me a good 8 hours to build. I was like figuring it out as I went. The instructions are fantastic, luckily, so I had a very good first building experience. But it went together fine, no problems. But after you build enough of these things, and especially the Tamiya tanks and horrible model kits from China, this is like child's play. So we'll BRB. We cracked a beer. It's time. It's beer o'clock. All right, BRB. Welcome back to Thunderstorm Central. Man, ooh, thunder. Scary. Very, very scary. Thunderbolts and lightning. Very, very frightening. Something like that. Mamma mia, mamma mia. We have oil-filled CVA dampers with this kit. I haven't built any of these things I just built 3 of them. But other than that, I haven't built any of these in absolute years. Maybe half a decade plus. We got to put a couple O-rings. I'm using a little tiny bit of some sort of Tamiya spooge schmoo here. Take a couple of little O-rings. You put them in the end of, wipe your fingies off on the paper towel so you have some traction. You put the end cap onto the shock body. Alright, easy enough. You take the piston and rod assembly. No separate piston with little holes in it like some of the more advanced ones. These are very basic. These are like the entry level of oil-filled dampers. A lot of Tamiya stuff was just like a rubber tube and some grease on a screw. So we pull that down. Nice and smooth, the action. Good, great. Now, it says to cover the shock shaft in like tape or something to protect it from the jaws of the plier, but we have these non-serrated, smooth jawed pliers, so we don't need to add any extra protection. Let me twist on the end of the shock shaft here. Okay. Rod end, whatever it would be called in real life. And yeah, that does it. Alright, and we've got a nice and smooth operating. Now we fill the girl up with the damper oil, very generic. The racing guys, there's all different weights of damper oil. You could have different piston hole sizes to really tune your shocks to the conditions or the vehicle. And the trick is here, we want to get the air out, but you want to very, 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 very slowly push the shock shaft in, and then you want to pull her down really slow to get your air out. If you pull it down slow enough, the air bubbles are larger and they rise to the top quicker and pop faster and allow you to de-aerate your shock. And there we go. And then to aid in that, we tap her. And you can see some air bubbles popping out of there, hopefully. And then we're going to add some more damper fluid. Okay, almost to the very tip top. And we're going to do another pull down. very carefully. And you can see the fluid level. I don't know if you can see that on camera. I don't know if it's really showing up all that well. But the fluid level drops a tiny bit every time you do this because there was air in there. You're replacing it with fluid. Now we're going to add a little fluid, so it's not just about, well, basically to the top now. And you're going to put this little rubber guy on there, the little diaphragm, whatever it is. And you're going to tap it down, and excess fluid should shmoo out of there. It should spooge out. Then you can put the cap on and twist that down good and tight. Gut and tight, the German torque term. There we go. And then for this particular model, we have these little limiter doohickeys that control the ride height overall. Ah! Oh no! I lost the washer. I caught it. So we put a little screw in there. Just down here in the basement by ourselves, screwing. What's new? Slider up the shock body. Lots of bodies and shafts and screwing going on here. Building suspension components is very erotic, I'll tell you. And we tighten that down until that clamp. Oh, come on, focus you. And there we go. Okay. Keep it PG-13, Mr. Schwartz. All right. Oh, you know what? I got it. It's down a little farther than I want it. I don't want a lopsided Hummer. Oh boy, I'm full of them today. I'm full of the one-liners. What happened? Oh, I got a lopsided Hummer. I'm not happy about it. I was like, you should be happy you got any Hummer. Some of us don't get any Hummers. There we go. I don't know if you hear that thunder in the background, but that does add an air of danger and mystery to this build video. Yeah, it was thunderstorming last night like crazy. There we go. Okay, we got 4 shocks done. I'm going to get these mounted onto the front and rear suspension module, drive modules, whatever the hell they are, and subframe, sub-assemblies, whatever. I've got a sub-brain right now. I'll be right back. Okay, well, we're back from a very mediocre dinner. So there's not a lot. We stuck down the receiver, we stuck down the speed controller, we screwed down the servo, we built the little steering rack. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing I need to really detail, I think. Not really much on an RC car. It feels like cheating after building an RC tank. And we got the whole rear assembly, and she just slaps on there. After building an RC tank, or building a more complex scale model, it's almost boring. It's soothing though, building a regular RC car chassis. You know, it's not an advanced RC by any stretch of the imagination. A couple screws here on the bottom. I'm really enjoying this Fantic little driver. This thing's working nice. Torque setting 2 appears to be adequate for ABS plastic, but it'll blow through anything softer. There we go. Look, a rear suspension. This is such an old school chassis, but I just love it. I mean, it technically isn't a TAO1 or TAO2. It's a DFO1, but it's so classic Tamiya. It just feels so 80s. I think this chassis might be from like 95 or something. But there's components in here that are dated 1987, 1990. It's just old school. I like old school Tamiya. I don't like those fancy schmancy double-decker, double-decker things, carbon fiber, and, the plate aluminum like we had with the nitro cars. I love a plastic monocoque from Tamiya. I don't know why. They're just cooler. I don't know. But yeah, we'll get back to it. I'm gonna get the front bolted on here soon, and then we'll show you that all tidy up. This thing's basically finished, I think. Not much left to do. BRB. Alright, well, we have a functioning remote control chassis. I love that classic old Mabuchi brushed stock motor. I'm old school. Steering. We adjusted our EPA, our endpoints on the steering. Just every radio is different. Refer to your radio manual on adjusting your EPA. You don't want to like have the servo jamming, you know, and it can't go any further because, you know, the steering gear can only go so far before it basically hits stuff, and there's no point having the servo straining against it. So take out any extra EPA you don't need. Looks like my alignment. Yeah, that's pretty close. Left by 3. I wasn't that far off building it. It's pretty good. Okay, yeah, this is not the place to drive it. That's good. Listen, this is the easy part. This is the very easy part. The next part is going to be building up the Humvee body and adding accessories to it and repainting that. Just plain old flat green. I don't know. I have some ideas for a paint scheme based on the fact that it has a Duke anti-IED antenna going on it. Likely, you know, Middle Eastern or, you know, Afghanistan-y thing, so likely some form of desertish, but we're going to try a different style of paint job, maybe. I don't know. We'll mix it up a little bit. But that's it for this part. We'll see you next time in part 2. Fantic Nex L1, yeah, I mean, listen, I got this for less than 30 bucks. If you can find it on clearance, it was on Woot a while ago. If you can get it cheap, get it. 60 bucks, it's not worth it. I'm sorry, not worth it. But for 30 bucks, absolutely a purchase. And that's it. Enough's enough for now. Part 1 done. Adios.